Don't think too hard.
As a linebacker, Luke Kuechly or Patrick Willis? Who you picking? Ooh. Everything is similar numbers-wise.
I don't like that question, though. It should be, first of all, Patrick Willis, but second of all, it should be Luke Kuechly or Bobby Wagner because those dudes came in together.
And you want to say why, or you just want to leave it at that?
Why Patrick Willis?
Yeah. Very
Have
similar.
you ever seen anyone come across the middle and die? Buddy from the Jets, the tight end.
Yeah.
Patrick Willis hit him back to
We're going to edit that out. We're going to edit that out.
Back to, that's the all you're going to see. Back to, and it's going to stop.
Bro, my man was like this in the middle of the field. Like this.
Yeah, we got
Put in the work, no humble flex. And talk of the town, you see who next. They on checkers, I'm on chess. Had to hit up with the X. XenHouse.
You ready?
I'm live. I'm live. I'm live.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. Do it, warm up, fellas. Yeah. You ready?
Yes.
This is a lot of throat clearing. Yeah, Alex.
I don't know. Is that a like?
I got videos. I got videos of them though. So it's all good.
I don't know. We got videos of who?
Right, you were right over there on the floor.
What you talking about? Was I stretching it or I was?
I don't. Were you stretching? Were you guys stretching? I don't know.
Man, y'all got like something secret going on.
No, the fuck we don't.
That's what it sounds like.
That's a true fact.
NFL stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No.
Y'all ready?
Yes, sir.
This is the XenHouse Podcast. It's episode 37. We here.
37.
We here.
Yeah.
We getting closer and closer to 40.
Uh-oh.
Like Alex's age.
That's
No,
crazy.
Ross, he's the oldest.
That's true. It's your boy Des Hines.
It's your boy A. Joe.
Ross B.
Oh my gosh, he brought it back.
He did bring
He
it
brought
back.
it back.
It's because we got a light skinned dude
This is-
on.
yeah.
That's why.
That's what it got.
He won't bring the inner light-skinned Ross out.
You see what I'm saying?
That's crazy. That's sad too. Who we got with us, Alex?
Today we have an unfortunate Danbury legend.
Unfortunate.
He had hair, it's all gone, and he's younger than all of us.
That's a fact.
I'm trying to
Can we
keep
pull
this
up?
serious.
Can we pull up?
So what we're gonna do is don't interrupt, all right? Before I introduce you, all right?
We can pull up pictures.
A client in XenHouse, a professional football player who is a retired football player now, because these injuries add up, all right? That's all I'm gonna say, all right? Father Time, don't wait for nobody. But introducing Austin Calitro.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Big dog.
AKA AC Freak.
AC Freak. Why we call him AC Freak?
We ain't gonna get into that.
We'll keep it quiet. We'll keep it quiet.
I'm a wholesome man.
What's up, man? What's
What's
going
up,
on?
man?
How you feeling? How's the body?
Good. I'm glad to be here.
Okay.
I'm glad to be here, Des. You know, congrats to you.
I appreciate that. Thank
Marriage. You know, hey, congrats to you getting that hair back, and congrats to you, Ross.
Oh, we got a comedian today.
you. Oh, I think he's
That's what it
funny.
gotta be.
Unfortunate Danbury legend. He come out swinging.
So you're here today. You should be at camp,
Yep.
but what did you decide? We're gonna start with that.
For me, for my health and my future and everything else, what I got going on right now, I just decided to 6 years was enough. My goal was 7, so this would have been my last year going into it. But for everything, the toll and everything it took on the body, I just didn't think it was worth it. 20 years down the line from now. So,
Right.
That's a fact.
it was my choice. I was getting calls, but for me, it was my body wasn't. I didn't feel. I don't want to cheat the game. I respect it too much, and I didn't want to go out like I saw other veterans going out with what they put on film. And I went out balling last year, so and I was very okay with that. So, gonna be 30 years old is what it is. Father Time caught up.
Well, congrats, because
That's
that's
a blessing.
still
Appreciate
a huge success, right?
To just make it is a huge step,
Shoot.
but
Ross, you made it to the NFL?
We still waiting for a
We
phone
waiting for a
call.
call back still.
Hey, dudes put up some numbers though.
Hey, I'm still available too if they need me. I'm still-
where you trying to go?
If I had my choice, man, I'll go anywhere. But Giants, if you need somebody,
Let them know. Call the dog.
come on, man.
Durkins, you heard that?
But so you say the body. So how do you know when you get to that point where you have to hang it up body wise? Like, cause there's people get injured or they get hurt and they feel like, I can tough through it? How did you know this was it?
There was like 3 things really. One, I had a coach last year. I think he played 9 years, 9 or 10 years. And I asked him, I said, when do you know like you were done? And he said, I knew I was done once I saw the ball, couldn't make the play. So I was like, in my head, I'm thinking, going into camp this year, can I really explode through a gap or can I get around a block on reach plays, those long stretch plays, and most guys aren't doing that healthy. And for me, I mean, I was able to take on blocks and everything last year, but I didn't know if I was gonna be able to take on blocks on a Tuesday practice and be ready for a Thursday preseason game kind of thing. And another thing is, you gotta to make a team every year. And like for me, more times than not, I was going into camp, as that 90th guy on the roster, and 6 times I fought my way up to be the 53 guy. And you got to really mentally be there, and I just wasn't
mentally.
I wasn't ready. My body wasn't ready, and I think that for me that led, mentally, like I just don't know if I could have went in there, and because more than anything, people don't realize this. Camp preseason in general is a mental warfare more than anything. When you see a guy, a rookie or a first or second year player getting those reps ahead of you, and they don't necessarily deserve it. If they didn't, their body of work isn't yours. It's hard. It gets harder and harder to get up every day and just go into work. Hearing coaches coach these younger guys, and then when they get to you, it's like you're not doing anything wrong. It's not like they're going to sit there and praise you, but at the same time, like you're not doing anything wrong. And most coaches will put you to the side and say, "This is out of my control."
It's almost like they'll say it's out of my control so that they don't give you the bad news or give you a bad. This is a bad rep.
Also, at the end of the day, it is out of their control.
Yeah,
they just legit coaching out of the book.
It, yeah, that's it. And whatever the front office gives you,
it's the front office that be like, all right, this dude. The coaches could be like, they like you all you want. That's why they always say, like, if as a rookie, if you go to the NFL, special teams coach, get close with them.
Yeah.
Because if they leave, that coach has a say if they go to another team.
Right.
That's like the one coach that has a say.
Yeah, the only coach that has a say is the special teams coach. So that's why even now I tell these young kids, if you go to college, like all our freshman guys going to freshman year, or like Jesse Schutzman, we got guys going to different schools, but I'm like, get on special teams. You're not a defensive player.
But they don't understand that.
But that's what I'm trying to push. Because if you push it now and you get that mindset, if you get this chance to play in the NFL, I know guys that played 10 years in just straight special teams.
That's it.
And I'm like making 50 racks a week.
Yeah. You make the same amount.
I'd have been a special team specialist, boy.
Like, that's the thing. People don't realize, oh, I'm a defensive player. No, you're not. You got to earn your stripes. Like,
I wish, because even last year, the Giant, when I made the Giants, they needed me to play linebacker, and throughout my career, because I knew it would come down. I knew eventually it would come down to this. I was trying to get labeled as a special teams guy, but unfortunately not unfortunately, because I'm glad everything happened the way it did. But my first year I was on practice squad all year, bounced around practice squad. I ended up sticking with Cleveland. But my second year, which is kind of rare, I went to Seattle. KJ got hurt. KJ Wright got hurt. They had Shaquem. They had some other young guys, and none of them were ready to be thrown in the fire right away, and they felt comfortable throwing me in the fire. And I had that label in Seattle my first year as, a linebacker who could play special teams. So for me, it was, which my coach, Coach Norton, love him to this day. He's the one that really helped get my career propelled. But he pulled me to the side and was like, hey, like, you want these guys to know that you're a football player. You're not a special teams or a linebacker. You're a football player. We can plug you in and play you anywhere. So for me, it was a constant battle for the rest of my career. I was trying to get labeled as a special teams guy, because once you're labeled as a special teams guy, you're safe. You're safe to a point.
Right.
And if you're a special teams guy that they bring in to play special teams, and all of a sudden you're balling at linebacker, you're a depth piece.
Now you're valuable.
Exactly.
That's what they did with Tyler.
Essentially, but Tyler, you look at Tyler's career, best linebacker basically in college football when he left Temple, goes to the Steelers. Mm-hmm. I remember being on the phone with him, and he's telling me, like, damn, like, I'm not playing linebacker. And I'm like, yo, special teams. Yeah. Focus on special teams. What, just last year, a 2-year, $9 million contract.
Yeah, special teams.
Special teams.
To go make a tackle game.
Just go, And then he's leading the NFL in special teams tackles. Like for somebody from Stratford, Connecticut, to be able to be in that category in the NFL, that's huge in itself. Yeah. Everyone has their own little, goal, but for me to see that with someone like that, that's amazing. Because we're not seeing that.
But I didn't know that they did that in the NFL where, like, if you're the special teams, they label you as a special teams guy.
Sometimes like you don't even practice. Like, if you're a true special teams guy, when defense is watching film, and I like when teams do this because like if you're on like special teams is its own profession in itself. Mm-hmm. So if you can watch film and learn the tricks and the trades throughout the week of the game plan, that's just gonna help you be more successful and get paid. So for me, when I saw teams pulling out their true core guys, like there's usually 8 of them on a team, and they're watching film while defense and offense is watching film, they're serious about the job.
Right.
Yep.
So I was trying to be that guy getting pulled out of defensive film, but yeah, it's
too late, buddy.
I think we should rewind a little bit. Talk about where you started with football and youth league, going into the unfortunate Danbury High School team, and what led you to go to college. So let's start with
the Danbury team that never could beat Stanford.
That's crazy.
What are you talking about?
When we were there.
You guys are 18 guys in the team now. You can't even field a team.
No, we got numbers.
Danbury, we got guys like, hey, you either making the bus or you're not.
One high school.
You
better,
huh?
You better have fucking.
Stanford has multiple high schools because
we're about to have multiple now.
Yeah, they
I don't know if
have
people
no
know
choice.
that, but
So where'd you start? Pop Warner?
Yeah, I was born in Orlando, Florida, so I was already different coming up here. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
I was drinking that Florida water.
You ain't South Florida though. You're not South Florida, but it's okay. Central Florida. Shout out to them.
I started out in the Danbury youth program. We had 2 teams back then, 2 teams back then. Back then it was the Vikings and the Trojans. And then the Vikings played in the Candlewood Valley League, which is New Milford, New Fairfield, Bethel, and all them. Yep. And the Trojans played in the high school FCX. So, even that young, my parents said choose which one you want to play for. So I had to make a decision at that age, and I was like, oh well, if we're playing these teams in high school, I want to play them now, which was cool because we kept that that rivalry with a bunch of those guys throughout. But yeah, I played for the Danbury Trojans from the time I was 8 years old until I got to my freshman year of high school. We had decent teams, and me and my best friend who I played with in high school, Aaron Dixon, we were always like the better guys. But back then, you can't really you could tell who's gonna be a dog in high school, but you can't tell then you don't even hit your growth spurt yet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you could tell just based on balance and footwork, but that's really it. And then I went to high school, hit a growth spurt, and ended up playing varsity my freshman year, and then sophomore, junior, senior year, I started at linebacker. So
offense? No offense?
No, I played offense, but
what'd you play?
Tight end, running back.
So
I played defensive player. He wasn't
I was about to say.
But I was a hybrid safety.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what I liked. Like I was guarding the tight ends in the slot sometimes.
Running 4.8 or 4.
What'd you?
Fastest 40.
Fastest 40 in high school? Like a 4.6? That's 4. No, 4.7. That's fast though for high school.
You talking to 3 high school dudes that ran very fast.
I ran a 4.4.
4.49.
Oh, but you couldn't beat Danbury.
We did beat Denver every year.
Oh.
The Hatters were hatted.
The Hatters were hatted. But you didn't beat it's a team sport, right? It's a team sport because we won states every year.
Not when we played.
What, your senior year?
Austin,
no, I didn't win.
12 years younger than us, yo. Chill out.
Uh-huh. But we have a 25-year history going. So what are we talking about?
So talk to us about high school. You started getting recruited with some schools that were reaching out, and then what made you pick Nova?
Well, to be honest with you, I didn't know what direction I wanted to go, whether it was football or baseball, until probably my junior year. Because I was going into my junior year that summer. I was in a pretty competitive baseball team, so I was getting looks. From there, I was playing multiple positions. We were traveling all over the East Coast just to play. And we had some guys on my team that they were legit. Mm-hmm. We had a kid throwing 90s at 15. We were 15 years old. We 6'7" throwing 90s. So we had scouts coming to the games for that. And at the time I thought it was cool because you know, baseball was my favorite sport growing up, and I thought it was pretty cool seeing like these major league teams come and look at him, and you know, 6 of our guys are getting looks constantly. So I wanted to, maybe it was competitiveness in me, but I wanted to, you know, beat them at the time just because I saw what they were doing, what they could do potentially. But, you know, eventually just once I realized full scholarships were given in football and a lot more calls are coming in for football over baseball, that's when I kind of shifted my focus a little bit. And that sophomore winter going into my junior year, I put on weight just because I kind of made my decision at that point. So I went from like 185 to 215 just to be able to play. Yeah.
Couldn't do that if I tried though.
Yeah.
Eating good.
Yeah, we had energy drinks or protein shakes, all that. But so I got my first offer from Bryant going into my junior year, and after that I played my junior season, and then you know back in the day you got to hire some consultant to put a highlight film like a legit CD together, and then we sent them out and. A bunch of D1 AA schools came in, and then
Bryant was still D2 at that time.
D2.
They just got done with their first year of 1AA.
Yeah.
Damn.
You know, and I'm thankful for Bryant to this day because you know they gave me the confidence moving forward, knowing that I could do it. But yeah, so then I had like Elon, Bryant, Temple, New Hampshire. Like there was a bunch of schools that were coming through, but for me. I wanted the best possible education.
Wait, time out, Odo. So what are you saying about Temple?
No, it's all right. I'm gonna let it slide.
Nah, because there's a whole story behind that, which I still, you know.
You should have went to Temple.
You passed the Temple for Nova because of
so you know how they have, what is it, you know, 90 scholarships, whatever. For some reason, you know, and this happens a lot at that level. They over offer.
Because they think you're not. A lot of people won't take.
A lot of people are gonna back out, or it's just not gonna work. It's like the draft.
Exactly.
So you was into Temple.
Yeah, I visited their campus multiple times, but for me, I needed my family to be okay with me going there. And the one time we went on a visit, and I would have loved to go to Temple. The one time we went on a visit, there was a shootout.
I was there for a shootout.
and the coach even said like, yeah, that's normal, unfortunately. And my mom was like.
No, not my baby.
Yep.
So you know, we went to the school up the street, but no. But also, I wanted the time and ability to make my own decision, and I wanted the time to do so. And Villanova, you know, they gave me the time to do so. But Temple basically was like, listen, these other guys are gonna commit, so it's either you commit now. Or you know we might have a spot for you at fullback, and I was just like,
that sound like
this is like the rest of this.
It's not pushy. It's straight to the point.
Right. This dictates the rest of your life. Like I need to be comfortable with it.
So quick story. When they used to come up, I used to tell you all the time. I forget his name. Tall. He was wasn't he?
D'Onofrio?
I think it was D'Onofrio. He's tall, right?
Was it
the
the
mustache?
white dude or the black dude?
White guy.
Salazio.
Yeah.
No.
He Boston College though at the
time.
Tall.
What
like
position?
He came. He said, "Oh, Ross, like Alex is talking about you, blah blah blah." I used to be like, "Man, I got MSU," but he used to come all the time, and every player that he wanted and needed, he's like, "Hey, man, if I offer you the scholarship, I'm gonna need you to either commit by tomorrow." Or
they
we
do
need
that.
To know he needs to know
Yeah, because they're moving on to the next.
Or they moving on to the next. But he always really wanted. There was this one linebacker from Philly, and he wanted Buddy so bad, yo. Like he was like, "You're from Philly. You're a Philly guy.
Definitely
like,
D'Onofrio.
Come to Temple. Like Temple is the school for you." Blah blah blah. And he ended up having a heart murmur, and he couldn't play football anymore. But like
Temple was different though. Like the stories I heard, like the Temple, like. I definitely would have fit in with that culture, and I probably would have loved it. But yeah, you guys are different. I heard about that culture.
That culture, we had to change a lot. That's why I be telling folks.
That's survival. That's like jail.
I wouldn't even say it's jail. That shit. Like I was just about to ask you, how has football molded your life? And I guarantee you're gonna say you'd handle anything outside of it because you put your body physically, mentally, emotionally through a lot of shit. To the point where it won't phase you.
No. And for me, like, I had to prove everybody wrong from the start. You know what I mean? Like, coming out of high school, I remember being in an elevator. We were in, me and my dad and my whole family, because we went on a family vacation after this, but I had to go to a Maryland football camp. And I remember, like, just like, going there the first day and then coming back to the hotel, and I looked at my dad and I was like, I don't get it. Like, all these guys get offers, and like none of them are gonna do what I do.
Nah, they're not that.
They're not.
They're not it.
And like, but coaches don't take into effect like the grind. Like these, I bet you a lot of those kids after that camp went home and they were chilling. But like, I trained every day from the time I was in the freshman, sophomore in high school on. Like, I never let anybody outwork me, and I don't. Even the NFL, I don't think NFL front office, executives,
They don't.
take that into consideration. They just see the natural raw talent and thinking they can mold you into thinking a certain way. But if I miss a workout, I'm thinking somebody's getting better than me. Right. So for me, it was just like I had to prove. Even when agents were recruiting me, I'll never forget this. Even going back to high school, talking about offers and stuff. We were at a beach one day, and my dad's like, "Hey, you might have to settle for," because at this time I wanted to go to Penn State and all this. My dad was like, "Hey, you probably have to settle for going 1AA." So I'm like, in my head, I'm like, "All right, I'm gonna prove you wrong now." Right. End up going 1AA. We're talking to agents, and this guy Sam Leaf from LA. I didn't go with him, but we were talking at it was my mom and dad and me. They're on their lunch break. They came home to take this call with me, and I'll never forget. My dad's like, "Hey, we know it's a long shot for him." And I had to sit there on the phone, like tell the agent, like, "Hey, tell my dad it's not a long shot. Like tell him my grade, just so he understands like where I'm at." And so I had to even prove my own parents wrong, and I had to prove 11 front office executives wrong. I had to prove all 32 wrong. And so for me, it was always about proving somebody wrong. So football itself makes me get up every day with a purpose to prove somebody wrong, and I carry that chip on my shoulder still, and I'm always going to.
Now people call me radical. Right?
You are.
I'm not radical.
You are radical.
What you talking about is what I had to deal with myself all the time.
Well, that's not radical.
No. I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why I'm radical.
Okay.
It's
So you are radical. You just
I
said
am radical.
Okay.
What
We going in
did we just
circles.
talk about just now?
People
No.
call
I'm
me radical.
telling you why y'all call me
right,
radical
go ahead.
and why that developed. Right? Didn't matter what level of football we played, especially when it's outside of Connecticut. You say you play football in Connecticut, they look at you like,
Who?
Connecticut.
They got football?
They got football out there.
They got black people.
This is a true.
They got
right.
Come
You know what? That's a true fact.
Right? That's one. Two, no one in my family played football. So I had to do all that by myself and teach myself, be around people like this to just develop like competition, right? That was already in me, but at the same time, like being able to understand like I'm not getting outworked by other people regardless. So right now, I'm radical because I'm setting the tone. Like you got to keep up with me. I'm not keeping up with nobody in life. It don't matter who it is. You got to keep up with me.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck what the fuck you been through. I've been through some shit. So for me, when it comes to from high school, we had to deal with like Jones taught us mad shit when it came to the structure of what a college football practice would be. So when we got to college, the shit was easy. It wasn't like a big transition. The speed was, but at the end of the day, if you're a dog, that competition comes out. Right? So then that comes out to it. So then when people are like, "Oh my God, I'm having a rough day. I got a flat tire." I will push the fucking car a mile if I have to get to the fucking gas station.
Right.
And I'm not going to tell you about it because guess what? That's a part of life.
Right.
So
People want that valid. So
it's funny you saying that. Like the way you think, the way you think, the way you think, and the way I think. Certain challenges that we get, we have this figure it out mentality.
yes.
Because I feel like we had it before football was.
No, we've had it.
Football, you develop it a little bit more, but where does that come from?
I think it's something that's either ingrained in you. It's the fight or flight theory that people have. Everyone has that. Most people have that flight theory because one, the parents or whoever they're raising them gives them that validation of come, I'll help you out of it. So they get saved at a young age, which I'm trying to raise my daughters and my son this way. I'm not picking you up if you fall. Get your ass up on your own because this is going to teach you later on in life. I'm going to die at some point. I know that. It's inevitable. And you see why I'm radical? I go to the furthest.
See what we
Now
talking
you see what I'm
about.
talking about. I go to the furthest because that's how people don't think that way. But at the end of the day, it's...
You only lived a third of your life. What are we talking about
Right.
that for?
But it's...
Alex, I love you.
He's saying he
I need
knows
you
he's
here.
gonna
know at
go.
some
He
point,
knows he's gonna go.
But
I know what he's saying.
That's how I think, right?
But
That's
that's
why I'm radical
that's
because
like-
I think further than I don't want to think, oh, maybe I'm going to be sick. No, you got to think of the worst because at some point...
Even people around here, bro, you can see it. Like, I don't know what people from the city are coming in. If you money, unfortunately, creates some sort of level of comfort. And for me, I refuse to.
Yep.
No matter how much I made the league, I refuse to let it give me that cushion of comfort. And but you can see it like now, even when high school kids play, like they're not playing angry. They're not running angry. Like there's very few running backs in Connecticut because I still watch high school here and there on Twitter, the clips and stuff. But there's no running backs. There's no lineman like putting somebody's face in the dirt like just to
Being
send a
an
message. You know what I mean? Like
What they don't understand.
They're not playing like their life depends on it.
They don't understand like there's always a goal, right? And they don't understand like there's bits and pieces of things that you have to do to get to a certain place. Like there's so many athletes in this town alone, right?
Oh my goodness.
But the resources just aren't there.
Yeah.
Right? And then they're not using their resources because they think, oh, if you pay $5 for something and you're doing it, that's enough. But the price at the end of the day isn't what matters.
Sweat equity.
It's the sweat equity. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And they don't understand that. So it's unfortunate.
And it's coaching too, because think about it. We practice fast. Like that was a known thing. We were intentional with it. I think kids go through practice and they just get
go
into
through
practice.
emotions.
I don't even know if that was on purpose though. Like we were just like going fast because we were trying to beat. Yeah, we were trying to beat.
It comes down to competition.
We're trying to make plays.
Yeah,
you
it's
remember when we used to
competition.
have to when they used to count our tackles?
Yes.
We trying to get into that tackle.
I want to see them stats. I remember mid-game at Temple, I'm over here with Damo and Jaquan talking about some, that's one for me.
That's 1.5.
Yeah.
I was there. Yeah.
If you're not talking like that, what are you doing?
We got fights at Nova, like middle of the game. We got in fights on the bench. Like
no, that was me. I got that tackle. And then you look at the stat sheet. Make sure you get the dub first. But you look at the sheet after the dub, and then you got film, and then someone fucked up in film. You be in the film room like this.
Shrinking.
And then the coach fucking wrong. Rewind that one
Over
play.
and over.
I got a final question talking about film. Who ran your ass over?
What, we talking about college or NFL?
College or NFL? You
got
get ran over before?
Be
honest.
Not like that. There was
Not like that.
Not like that. I mean, there's times I end up on my back. Like
Oh, like you took him down.
Yeah.
So
I never in the league.
Trump.
I've never been ran over like that. In college, he didn't really run me over, but I felt it. Darius Victor from Towson. You know? Yeah, he was nice, bro. He was nice.
He looked at his.
It did. Like I said, he didn't run me over, but you felt it when you tackled him. But there was only one time in my career where, where I remember it was Pop Warner. I was 11 years old. This white kid from Seymour ran me.
Yo, Seymour was different.
Seymour always like that.
I don't know, but I was upset.
I was juicing. Them boys used to be so
Seymour
big.
It was one of those
like
hits
that,
where
yo.
when you get up, you don't know where you are. I started walking in their huddle. Back then it was you got your bell rung. So I put that hit. And I was like, for the rest of the game, bro, I'm coming for you. I didn't get him.
Teams like that were nice. Seymour, West
Derby
Haven,
was nice.
Yeah.
Antonio.
Prospect.
Yep, and Sony.
Who did we scrimmage? It was our senior year.
Southington.
No, it was
With that quarterback that was like
not
6'6"?
Southington. We had one before that. We had a scrimmage before that.
Holy Cross.
Oh, they were nice. From
Holy
Waterbury?
Cross.
Yo.
Yeah, the Crusaders were?
Yeah.
Boy,
Fucked up. Yo.
boom!
Yo,
It
remember
was yeah.
Someone they punted and I was a gunner and my stupid ass running, doing
Looking
what coaches
up,
tell you not to do.
Looking up.
The fucking punt returner, fucking boom. I fucking looked around. I said, somebody hit the fuck out of me. I was mad the rest of the scrimmage, yo.
That'll ruin your day. That'll ruin your day.
It wasn't even like they were like a great team. They just they knew what they needed to do, and they were all like. I feel like they were all like 5'9" and just like 240.
Yeah, they were rugged, yo.
And they were just like,
I'd rather get beat by a team like that than Darien, like a bunch of lacrosse kids playing football. Like,
That's
that used
a
to
true fact.
piss me off.
Yeah, that's the truth.
So you
We
played
never- we
Darien?
never-
Was
never
Darien good when you played or not?
Well, it wasn't even very good. They just didn't make mistakes throughout the
Yeah.
We would
Because
lose
they
them.
weren't really good
We would
when
lose
we
them like
never played
20,
Darien.
21-14, 28-21. It was like they would make one less mistake. And I hated it.
But the thing I tell these kids now, especially the kids we work with Darien, I'm like, Darien is good, but you guys play with each other. You guys have done what Stanford should have done. what Norwalk should have done. Pop Warner, middle school, high school, same plays.
Right.
So by the time
Same
you're
defense.
a junior,
You know.
but not even, by the time you're a freshman,
You know, you just plug them.
it's like you just have fun.
Yeah.
It's clockwork.
But now these kids are learning one playbook, then they move on to the next level. It's a completely different playbook. And then senior year, they're like, damn, I'm
And you're
trying
not
to
even playing
again-
with the same people.
Yeah,
either.
and you're not
So
playing with the same people. So
the resources, the umbrella
yeah, that's how it's supposed to be.
isn't connecting. You know what I'm saying? Like when the wind blows half
Yeah.
of your umbrella off.
Yup.
That's how these ducks around here looking.
They
Maybe
doing
we should
it,
do
and
something, Mel, for Stanford. Try to get them.
I mean, we got to get all the coaches on the same page.
Got to be
but-
on the same page.
But you got to have that
It could even be
umbrella.
it could be something where you guys do like a once a week clinic for 4 weeks in the summer, where you're teaching these dudes like the ins and outs of a cover 3, the quarters cover.
they got to get on
But
the same
it's
page.
they got to be on the same page, and it's got to start with the youth programs. They actually took youth programs out. They just brought it back in Stanford
We didn't have- we
2
didn't
years
have
ago.
anything.
That's a problem.
Yeah, they took it out.
That's a problem. So,
So-
where are these kids going then?
Well, a lot of them aren't doing shit. They're in the streets being reckless, or they're playing video games, or
Video games, yeah.
who knows what they're doing. But it's just at this point, it's tough. But again, you see how you went through that structure with the Trojans. You went from middle school to freshman year. That's a long time of learning a certain playbook.
Yeah.
And then when you went to Danbury, it's basically the same concept, just
Yeah.
different terminology. But that helps.
Yeah.
That helps develop people, especially these young kids. They don't have that all over the
I
place.
think once they got rid of Pop Warner, it started going downhill.
Yep.
I don't know why they did that. They started doing the middle
It's funding.
school and stuff, but I think
I
Pop
think it's
Warner
that
needs
time,
to
by
come
the way.
back. Yeah, it's that time, boy.
We out?
It's time to answer these questions,
Yeah.
fella.
Austin is sick already.
Yes,
Questions to ask.
it's time to answer these questions. We're firing them off. Just answer them, and if you want to explain why, you can.
To the
First
best
question,
of your ability.
to the best of your ability.
Don't think too hard.
As a
Questions.
linebacker, Luke Kuechly or Patrick Willis? Who you picking?
Come on, dog.
Everything is simple. Hold on, before you answer that, everything is similar numbers wise.
I don't like that question though. It should be
Why?
first of all Patrick Willis, but second of all it should be Luke Kuechly or Bobby Wagner because those dudes came in together. I would choose Bobby though.
You're going with Bobby,
Yeah.
but you're going with Patrick Willis.
Yeah.
Okay. And you want to say why, or you just want to leave it at that?
Why Patrick Willis?
Yeah.
What do you
Over
play?
Luke.
7 years?
They both same thing.
7 or 8.
7 or 8, right? 8? He only played 8 years. Look at his
Both
stats.
of them.
Same thing. They
No,
have
they
similar,
they've got
they have
they're
similar
close.
stats.
Okay.
Very
Have you
similar.
ever seen anyone come across the middle and die? Buddy from the Jets, the tight end.
Yeah. He
Patrick
killed
Willis hit him back.
We're gonna edit that out. We're gonna edit that out.
Back to, that's the all you're going to see. Back to, and it's going to stop.
Bro, my man was like this in the middle of the field. Like this.
Yeah, we got Yo! You just going to bleep it?
Yeah,
yo?
bleep
You're
that joint
sicko, yo. Next question.
But Luke Kuechly's probably the smartest linebacker to play. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 2, if you can go back and give your 18-year-old self one piece of advice, what would it be?
That it's all temporary, enjoy it. Cause when you're in it, like I was just thinking about this the other day, like I don't think I really necessarily enjoyed each moment for what it should have been. Cause I was always worried about getting cut, cause I've been cut so many times. Like that's always in the back. I'm like, sometimes there was times where I was playing to not get cut instead of enjoying it. And I think if some things happen a little differently, it could have been, I could have been in New York a little longer. I could have been in Seattle a little longer, but everything happens the way it does. And, enjoy it. But for me, if I was to be that person who's just enjoying it, then I wouldn't be that person waking up hungry every day.
Right.
So everything happens for a reason, but
For a reason, yep.
yeah.
Number 3, who's the most famous contact in your phone?
Bobby.
Who?
I'm gonna say you're gonna say Bobby.
Yeah, probably Bobby Wagner, KJ, right? One of those guys. Cam Chancellor, one of those guys.
Okay.
That boy Cam Chancellor was a
He's
different
different.
animal.
Who's different?
Heat seeking missile.
He might have been the closest to like Brian Dawkins / like the old school free safeties,
Yeah.
strong safeties that I've seen in a long time. And we haven't seen that in a while.
I mean, that
Yeah.
Kobe Bryant getting close.
Huh?
He's early. But the way he playing,
that-
Kobe Bryant
No, he sent
for
the message the other
Seahawks,
day. He sent the message.
The Seahawks?
Yeah, that.
Oh, they have another.
That was the first
I haven't
quarter, wasn't
seen
it?
Yeah.
I think that was like his first series.
He
What he
set
said?
the first series. He set the tone.
What he said? He hit somebody?
Oh my
I
God.
didn't
Hit them back.
Yeah, no.
Oh my
see it. Find something else.
Backside receiver did a high mesh, and he came from the top and cleaned him up.
I gotta see it.
Any DB,
This is for
any DB
preseason?
that you know,
It was
they,
last night
any-
or the night before.
I
yeah,
haven't seen
Thursday.
it. I
Any
haven't
DB that leaves their feet when they tackle, you know that they
He's
come
a
with bad
different
intentions.
animal.
But he's the
Bad
one.
intentions.
He's the
That's
one
how I
from,
used to tackle. That's how I used to
He's the
tackle.
one they drafted that I was saying
He's gonna
he
be a
reminds
beast.
me of Cam because he's a safety.
He's only 5'11" though,
He's
6 foot.
tiny, but he's laying
He's
out old linemen.
He's 5'11".
He laying
6
out
foot,
old linemen,
5'11",
boy.
He ain't tiny, Alex.
Just started playing
I
football.
mean,
now.
not really
He's just
tiny,
shorter,
but
yeah,
Just started
shorter
playing
than
football.
Cam.
Just started playing. Like, he only played in college
Yeah.
from Florida too.
He's gonna be an
You
animal.
just want that contact.
Yeah.
What's one common myth that is associated with playing in the NFL? Like the biggest one.
Probably the biggest one is, you know, people when they talk about money, they just think you got it. Like they don't realize you get paid weekly, and like when you get cut, you're not getting a paycheck again.
Yeah.
So yeah, probably that. You know, once you made the team, everyone just assumes you're a millionaire, but it doesn't work. It never ever works like that.
And talk
see the
about
big
real
contracts.
quick about the contracts and how things are guaranteed in other sports, but NFL is not, and putting your body on the line and all of that.
I get it though. 'Cause I get it. Like unfortunately, like I get it. Like the whole running back thing right now, I get it.
Yeah.
And like, if it was up to me, there should be, and you know, I might want to work in a front office one day. So like that's why I'm stuck. Like my view started shifting last year with how
You see things.
you know what I mean? Because I started to see my own situation. Like, all right, well, if I was a GM, what would I want out of me? And for me to go in as a Jets linebacker, I would have had to been a camp body. Like, you know, like last year, all I have is 5 games of film in preseason. You know what I mean? So, but I get where the running back market is because there should be a luxury tax, in my opinion. Like these dudes should be getting paid because you know they're the ones
getting a lot.
they're doing a lot. But if you want to pay a running back past a certain point of what the cap is, or if you know they should set a number for the overall running back market, anything past that you should tax it because they do deserve their money, especially Saquon
Right.
and guys like that. What was the question again?
common myth.
Oh yeah,
Well, I was asking about money, guaranteed money to other sports versus NFL.
And I just found out the NBA is a little different than I thought, but like MLB, you sign your name for $300 million, you're getting paid $300 million. Last year, I signed a contract for whatever, I forget, like 1.2 or whatever. But I'm only getting 1.2 if I'm there for all 18 games or all 18 weeks.
Yeah.
So they break up 1.2 over 18 weeks, and then just recently they split up into 36 weeks, so you're getting paid until OTAs. But if say I was only there till Thanksgiving, then I went to the Raiders.
You're not getting that.
Well, thank God I did, because the vet rule.
Well,
if you're
under,
but yeah, if you're
the
under
rule,
that,
you're
yeah.
not getting that.
If you're under that, they stop paying you after Thanksgiving, and then if you don't get another job, you're not getting paid the rest of the year.
That's it.
Right.
That's crazy.
That's because of incentive. Like, was there like specific incentives? Like, so you just you just got to be there for 18.
The way the owners and the CBA and everything, the way they worked it, that wasn't me. The way they worked it, you're only getting paid for certain things. I
The
think it should be
incentives are
guaranteed.
what your agent fights for. So
Yeah.
you get 5 tackles in the game. You get a few PBUs.
Yeah,
If
like
you get
AB.
Like every play that was in the field was
Still.
like a certain amount of dollars, so you're getting a
Yep.
bonus for that, like a player performance bonus.
Yep.
Right.
But if you're only there for 14 weeks and you only play those 14 games, you're not getting anything past that.
Yeah, that's it.
And that's just because it's a 100% injury rate.
That's
in
just
football.
crazy.
They can't pay you if you're hurt. And most of the time, people if they're hurt, their paycheck gets cut in half.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Unless you're big time.
Yeah,
And you're set.
Yeah.
Like Nnamdi Asomugha, when I saw
Yeah.
that.
Oh yeah, he's good.
Dude wasn't playing, and he was getting like 100 something a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's just a lot of stuff that fans don't really know about, so they speak on.
And,
They don't know.
Nah, a lot of
They
people.
also people don't realize like the week-to-week business of the NFL it's a week-to-week business. That's a real thing. Like people don't realize Monday
It's a
or
new
Tuesday
week.
at 4 p.m. is
It's a
cut,
new
is
week,
cut
and
deadline.
you can get cut.
Every week I'm holding my breath like, damn, I gotta
Yep.
make it past 4 p.m. And then when you do, it's all right. They install the game Wednesday. If you're not in the game plan Wednesday, you're thinking like, damn, am I even gonna address this game?
Mm-hmm.
So Wednesday and then Thursday is third down game. If you're a DN, you're not in the third down package. You're probably inactive that game.
Yep.
So it's just like it's a constant mind game throughout the week, and you just got to for me, it was Kareem Jackson, safety for the Broncos, played 15 years now. I asked him when I was there because I was, I'm someone that likes soaking it in, and I asked him when I was there. I said, hey, what made you last as long? Or, guys that played 10, 11, 12 years, like what makes them last as long? He's like, they come into the facility the same person every single day. Consistency leads to trust, and trust leads to you getting playing time. So
That's anxiety, boy.
But,
believing in that
weekly.
But now, like all that you've been through, talking about weekly, this is why I tell people, like, don't stress out about little things outside. Like, we had to deal with this shit at a young age, right? And then play at the college level, we had to deal with this shit because, coaches, they always trying to replace you at the end of the day.
Yep.
NFL is even worse. It's only, I say it again, it's only 1,900 that play a year. So imagine how many trying to get in. So if you fuck up, you on the line. Every week, your job is on the line.
Everything you like walk through, like there was a time in Seattle where the dude in front of me, he was fucking up. He fucked up and walked through. Switched him out.
Next up,
he
just
didn't
like
get
that.
the spot back.
It's
Over
just like
a
that.
walkthrough.
That's crazy.
And people will be anxious because they sent the wrong email at their work. Like, nothing wrong. Like, yeah, obviously, if you are. But that's what I'm saying. Like,
About to go off.
I'm not going off. But just
guys, it's brewing up.
no,
brewing
no,
up.
no, no.
Radical.
I'm gonna
He's about to
stop
go
at
off.
this. But I'm saying, people stress about sending the wrong email or someone sending an email with attitude, and my day is ruined. But this is what an NFL player's day is.
Yeah.
And they be like, oh, you making all the money though? Yeah,
No,
motherfucker, I
it's-
work for this.
it's-
Like,
You can answer a question wrong in indie meetings and film. And he won't
coach
say
thinks about
nothing
that. It's
there.
in the back of their mind.
In the back of their mind. And as soon as you fuck that up on the field, hey, go get him.
Yeah, because he's thinking
And that go
about
get
his
him.
job too.
His
yeah,
job is
exactly.
on the
That's
line.
what it comes
Hey,
down to.
shit rolls downhill, and I have a newfound respect for the last couple of years. Like, I really do appreciate the way the NFL, like a successful NFL operation, works. I've been on an 0-16 team, and I've been on a team that went to the Super Bowl. The talent level is right here. It's all about how the front office and the coaches run it.
Right.
That's what a question I was gonna ask. Different teams, different records. Talent is the same across
Well,
the board for the most
Talent's
part.
not the same, but for the most part.
Yeah, so the 11 starters, everyone for the most part, their 11 starters are gonna be the same. But a successful team, like the Eagles, the way their offensive line works, that takes years to build.
Yeah.
So the fact that they can take an All-Pro, first of all, the fact their whole offensive line is first or second team All-Pro is ridiculous. And the fact those dudes can get hurt and you could throw the next dude in there and there's no fall off, that's a team, like, that's a Super Bowl team.
You know what that comes down to, which we talked about in regards to our personal world? Communication. That's
Structure.
That's all it is, yo. It's everyone talking about the same thing, having an open line of communication.
And knowing your job.
You're knowing your job and your fucking feelings are on the side.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's bigger than you, so you got to focus on what the big picture is and not, today I just fucking slept wrong.
He
You
felt
can't do
one,
that
yeah.
shit, yo.
He dropping the F-bombs. He felt
Yeah,
it.
because that's what people do. That's why I get so mad. This is why Radical Alex come out. Because folks be worried about the wrong shit. Am I wrong, Austin?
It's brewing up.
The
It
one
gets
thing I loved about the
frustrating.
league is, like, no matter what you had going on around you, you gotta get up for practice.
You got to cut that shit out.
You
gotta-
gotta-
You gotta
be
you gotta
100%.
answer those questions wrong in film or answer them right in film, because the second you answer them wrong, they're working somebody out the next day.
Yep. The next day, someone's getting flown in just to do a workout, and then you
Just to
look.
let you know, they're gonna put you on notice too. Like, Seattle did a good job of that. If you were fucking up, they'll work out somebody just to send you a message.
Yeah, that's wild.
I was gonna ask you too, the getting release process. Like we see it on Hard Knocks. They call Buddy the
Grim Reaper.
You already said the anxiety was up there, but
Yeah. Not even like at that point. It was just like, so the first time I got cut, that was the most I ever, like, I gave myself 24 hours as my feelings. It was fucked up. I signed with the Jets, and then as an undrafted free agent, and when I'm on the phone with them, this is a whole new regime before this, the one they had here.
yeah.
Todd Bowles is the coach, and
Temple.
Tough. And they signed me, but they called me the first time trying to sign me as a fullback. So I was like, hey, you got to call my agent. Like, I'm not about to go into it. I didn't tell them this, but in my head, I'm like, I can't go into a league this fast trying to learn a new position. So, they call me back to, a couple, 15, 20 minutes later. They're like, all right, we're going to take you as a linebacker. I get there, it's me and this other little white kid from a D2 school, and going at the same position. So in my head, I'm already like, damn, this is what it is. Like, So I'm glad it happened the way it did. I went home. I told the coach before I left. I was like, "Hey, coach, I'll be back for OTAs. I'll see you." Dap him up. He's like, "You're coming back?" So I'm like, I look at him like, "Yeah." He goes, oh, "Okay, I'll see you. I'll see you when you come back."
Yeah, all right. These dudes is
I'm getting up.
Crazy,
It's 7 o'clock in the morning. I can't sleep the night before. I'm going to OTAs. Going to the Jets. I just can't wait to get in there, work out. Implement myself in the playbook. And I'm getting up. Sitting there, brushing my teeth. I get a call from New Jersey number. I said, "Hello? Hey, Austin, you're not on your way yet, are you?" I said, "No, I was about to leave." And I lied. I was like, "I'm about to leave now." He's like, "Okay, yeah, don't even leave. Just go ahead. We'll give you the address. Go ahead and send your playbook to us. Blah blah. We don't really need you anymore." I said, "Did I do anything wrong?" He was like, "No." And I said, "What could I have done better?" And he was like, maybe quickness." So in my head, I'm like, "All right, this dude doesn't even know. He's just telling me." But that was my first introduction to it, and then everything else after that, I made sure that every time I got cut, I need to know why and what can I improve on.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean it's I think that's reasonable.
Yeah.
Like if someone ever, like if I was training someone and they said, "All right, like I'm gonna go train somewhere else," I'd be like, "All right, what did I do wrong?"
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like what didn't we fulfill so that you could stay and continue the training?
The frustrating part is when they give you an answer where it's like, "Hey, you didn't do anything wrong." It's a numbers game.
Nah, come on.
That happens too
A
often.
numbers game.
That's tricky. So it's how the 53-man roster.
It could be numbers position wise or numbers contract wise. You know what I mean? It's all.
That's what it comes
there's a bunch of
down to,
numbers
which
floating
is
around.
annoying, and that's where the business side is draining because you're like,
There's
again,
nothing I can everything I've done in my control.
Yep.
I've done
You did it.
I did everything I could do in my control.
But that's when you have to really learn to trust the process and trust God, because at the end of the day,
Yep.
when those numbers come in, it's nothing you can do.
That's it.
Like when I went to the Raiders, I was player of the week twice. I was supposed to be guaranteed contract. I got fucking cut.
So what was like the worst cut you got? Like the one that hurt? Or
I
they
would say
all
the
hurt?
Raiders one, because I first got there, I got off the plane, signed a contract, got in practice, just went the fuck off, started hitting people, doing what I was supposed to do. End of the week, they said, "Alex Joseph, I know it's your first week. Congratulations, player of the week." I was like, "Oh, that's what's up." Dude's like, "Oh, you supposed to play." They're like, "You're too new. You're not playing." So I was like, "All right, cool." 3 weeks later, same thing. Got player of the week. I was supposed to sign. Literally, I think I called you a little bit after. Cable called me and was like, "Man, I was surprised the head coach called me, but he was like, I understand you got player of the week. You're supposed to sign automatic 3-week contract, but we actually have a lot of guys hurt, so we have to let you go."
It's so much of it's out of your control.
And I was like, "You kidding me? Like, I've been busting my ass. I'm over here."
You want to talk back,
Right,
but
yeah,
there's nothing you can say.
I'm 250 pounds. They got me in practice playing nickel against Jacoby Ford, and I'm running
How
with
much
him.
you weigh now?
I'm about the same, but I'm a little faster. Austin, how your knees, yo?
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Oh, okay. Look. Here come out. Nah, but that shit hurts. Like, cause
It hurts when it's not like when they say, "Oh, we got guys hurt," and they're bringing other guys in or off IR. Like that's nothing you could do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But that's when I learned
To
the
win
business
player of the
side,
week
it's
twice,
just
yeah.
not fun. That's not fun, and that's why.
Especially when you like think like I don't want to say comfortable, but like you start going out like I'm sure you know what I'm talking. Like when you go out on the practice field, you have a little more swag to you. Like I belong.
Yep, I can hang with these dudes.
Exactly.
It's not because you see these guys on TV before you make it to the league. You see these guys on TV like, damn, they're.
And there's some dudes who you still see in person where you're still like, damn. Man.
Yeah, but then some dudes you play with, you're like, you're the guy on TV that played at the SEC or you played here,
Cheetos,
and then
not
now
watching
and then
film.
now you barely watch film and the coach is like you. It's just you just don't know what you're gonna get. But at the end of the day, the biggest message I'm putting in this is continue to do what you can and control what you can. Because if you focus on other people, that's when you start fucking up.
All right, next question. What's the most memorable moment so far in your career, football-wise?
Like NFL or any
NFL.
NFL?
Yeah.
Probably my first when I played with Bobby, me and him started against the 49ers together. That was my first win. I'm sorry. Thursday night game against the Packers. That was like my first win. And I wasn't even, Pete, Pete didn't trust young guys often, especially young guys that they brought in as an undrafted free agent. Mm-hmm. So, I wasn't one of the guys, and so it took me a little longer to earn their trust, but it was a Thursday night game later on in the year, and we were on a roll. Like, we were fighting for a playoff spot. We played the Packers and Aaron Rodgers, and the dude in front of me played D-end all year, and then they moved him back to a weak side linebacker to start him because he was year 8 at the time. So then he messed up the first series, and I took over the rest of the time, and just like the way the communication went, the way I felt out there, I had a sack at Aaron Rodgers, I almost picked him off. It was, to me, that was the most memorable just because that was the first time where I felt like,
you could
like I felt comfortable.
It's working out.
Yeah.
Last question. When it's all said and done, how do you want to be remembered? And it's not just football. How do you want to be remembered as Austin when it's all said and done?
Me and my girl were talking about this the other day. We were talking about football.
Which girl?
My girlfriend, Erin Soda-Santi.
Oh.
Yeah. Shout out to Erin. You better not block that out either,
Oh.
Yeah.
Everybody got rings there except for you.
I know what comes
about
next.
Football rings.
I know what comes next.
But for me, I couldn't, when kids are in the picture one day, I couldn't. It was hard for me to compartmentalize like going out the way it happened because I always picture like playing 7 years, writing that Instagram caption after the last game of the season, and I kept asking her like, am I going out like a And but for me, more than anything, I just want like when I lay my head down, at night, or when I'm past, when I move down, I want my kids to know that nobody outworked me, and I was humble through it all, because a lot of guys get 1 year success and their careers are never the same, and they were always like this. Mm-hmm. But for me, I was pretty even and consistent throughout it all, and I don't think anybody. I had to work harder than anybody else to maintain a spot, and I don't think anybody can really sit here and tell you that my head was bigger than anybody else's, and I was humble for the most part, and I tried to give back as much as I could, and just knowing that there's a bigger purpose than me out there. That's kind of what I wanted to leave behind.
Yeah. So and the reason I said it like that was because there's people that we know that played in the league you would never know because that's not even part of their identity.
Right.
Whatever they do after football. That's what we know them as, and then it's like we talk to them, and they're like, "Yeah, I played in the NFL for like 5 years." We're like, "Oh, you didn't know that."
And yeah, like when
that's a choice pretty much.
And I take pride in that because I went to Villanova for a reason. I got a degree and I got a master's from Villanova for a reason. I'm in the process of getting my MBA right now, and for me I wanted to make sure that my kids understand, like my future kids understand that like I could have done this without football too. You know what I mean? Football just helped me get a platform and help me get an early start to life and help me develop my mindset the way it is. But at the same time, if it wasn't football, I would have figured it out some other way. And I'm not just a football player, and that's what people don't understand.
That's important. Folks got to know that.
That's huge.
No, I think you definitely had some effects on on the youth too. What's homie that you trained that goes to Utah?
Pierre.
Yeah.
Pierre, like I had no idea Pierre was from Danbury.
Yep.
But like, one day he was training or you were coming in and you were just finishing up with Buddy. And like when Austin walked in, Buddy was like,
Buddy lit up and stayed.
Yeah, he was like, yo, what the? He stayed right and into his session.
Yep.
And spoke to him for, I don't know, maybe a solid 30 minutes.
And
it was nothing. Together. It was nothing for him. You know what I'm saying? But like, that's how you're supposed to give back. And I think
things like that.
It was so small, but like I stood there and I recognized it because I'm like, any other person who's not a good person would have been like,
yo, what's up?
Yo, I'm training.
It's funny you say that, but you see when we training people, he comes in, he talks to everybody.
Yeah, he talks to everybody.
There's people that they don't want to even be bothered. They're just trying to train and then leave.
After that is contagious because you don't know, just based on it. We're going to go back to living that anxiety life in regards to the football. No one's going to know that unless you say that.
Right.
So you just deal with it, right?
Right.
So when someone walks in that door, I don't know someone just, who knows if they just got fired from their job, but now they're coming here, they're about to train, and they can probably be waiting for somebody to say, how you doing? And then they'll talk to you about that stuff.
Right.
But we just have that ingrained in us to just check in on people. Just be ourselves. People
I
are worried about
yeah.
themselves too much.
I feel like you got to stay 10 toes down and like keep your head your chin up, because no matter what we go through, there's always gonna be someone going through something worse. You know what I mean? And especially in Danbury, like the youth in Danbury right now, they don't really have much to look up to. And you know, I didn't get back as much as I would have liked to, just because, you know, for the nature of whatever the NFL is. But whenever I do go back, like I do try to at least just go talk to the team, because you know, if you don't have at least like someone or something to aspire to be, then you're gonna continue to cycle whatever cycle you're in. So for me, the youth in Danbury, you know, as long as they got, and not even me anymore, they got other dudes now who did look up to me, and I'm beyond proud of those guys. But they just need to understand, like, football is a way to get your education and knowledge, and that education and knowledge is gonna help you better, you know, break that cycle and better your life.
Absolutely.
As much as we want to say, like, you know, like there's other things we could be doing, you know, this or that, or a lot of guys, you know, the streets come into play, but nothing's gonna, you know, help you get a, you know, honest living more than, you know, just having knowledge and education.
Understanding that discipline and that team atmosphere.
Yeah.
Because it builds character. At the end of the day, when you work for a business or if you start your own business, it's a team setting.
Exactly.
So what other sport is going to teach adversity and praise and all that all in one, and then you carry that on to the real world?
Exactly.
I think football is
There's
the
no
best
other
one.
sport like football.
There's no other sport.
Sorry for some of y'all.
No, that was dope, man.
Yeah, we appreciate you
We
coming.
appreciate you guys, man.
Thank you, yo.
Hey, congrats again.
AC
Congrats
Freak.
on
AC
what's
Freak.
coming for
We
you.
ain't gonna talk about
I'm
that.
ready.
Should we cap it off with something light though?
Yeah.
Should we put on some tunes real quick, Des?
Yeah. We should throw something on real
Guys,
quick.
guys,
Should we
guys,
should
stop.
Hold on.
Yo, should we show the people why he's called AC
Yeah,
Freak?
we'll show them why.
Give us some AC. Give us some.
Shout out to Cordell, feel me?
XenHouse, XenHouse, XenHouse.